go to Sard first of all. You were asking midweek for a response. You got the response, a 5-0 win, a brace from Martinelli, a brace from Gabriel, in my opinion, as well. Talk to me.
Yeah, listen, I think scoreline is great. The fact that we beat them 5-0 was great. Only thing for me, obviously, if I'm really nitpicking, I think, listen, the first half we didn't look as good as I would have hoped. The front line still looked shaky. Martin Odegaard this game still invisible, and not playing to the level that I would have hoped Odegaard would play to, especially at home. But listen, Martinelli with the goals, coming out scoring those goals, it's going to do wonders for his confidence. I'm hoping that he can push on now and be like, okay, yeah, let's continue scoring this goal. Let's continue going on this scoring way, and continue with this form. When it comes to Saka as well, I think another poor game from him. He was very predictable in that first half, and even in the second half at times also very predictable. Um, Declan Rice looked off in that first half, but I think he recovered in the second half. And just overall from us, second half, it was a decent game. We come out, we looked a bit different. We looked like we had more energy. As soon as I think we had that third goal from Trossard, it changed. It's like the team changed and they became more confident. It's like as soon as we scored an open play goal, it literally it changed. The whole team were like, okay, you know what? We've scored. We've got past that barrier. We've got over that wall. Let's continue our scoring form. But yeah, listen, I'm happy with the performance anyway. Just the first half was showing me a lot of deficiencies that we'd seen previously. But I'm hoping that we can go into this next game now, having scored this. And listen, we were waiting to score these goals. We were waiting to score these goals. I feel like the team were just missing too many chances. It was bound to happen. But yeah, I feel like it's a great result for us. A great result to keep us in this title race. I'm not saying we're going to win the title yet, but it still keeps us within firing range. This we needed them. We needed them to talk, to go into this game, and we needed them to hit back, to play like, you know what, we are serious. We are taking this title serious. So listen, big up to the team. Big up to they played very well. Gabriel, amazing today as well. But big ups to the boys.
I hear you there. Nathan, do you echo that? Do you feel that Arsenal were back to looking serious today?
I wouldn't say serious, Tom, to be honest with you. I think it was a professional performance. But for me, there's still more questions than answers, if I'm to be completely honest with you. I felt like we scored, if we break down the game, we scored 2 goals on the break, and we scored 3 goals on the break and 2 from set pieces. So in terms of actual creating chances from open play, for me, we're still not where we need to be. And it's still the same question in regards to that. In terms of the result, after the run of results we've been on, it's the most important thing. So we needed 3 points. But looking at the game as a whole, especially in particular that first half, I didn't think we created many chances from open play. And that has been a worry for us this entire season. We've been talking about it week after week. And we're halfway through this season. For me, that's still either that or a lack of clinical edge in front of goal that have been the 2 major stumbling blocks for us this season. So I'm not there to say, I say it's a step in the right direction after the way results have gone recently, but I wouldn't say that we're looking like we're definitely heading in the right direction as of yet. For me, performances are I look at performances as the most sustainable things I can draw from. So I see more performances that are more definitive, right, and more complete. I can take more from that as opposed to performances where I'm still asking a lot of questions.
Do you echo that, Brandon? Do you still have more questions and answers after this game? I mean, a 5-0 win, a lot of rivals are going to say, how are questions still being asked? What's your take on it, mate?
I think he's right in the sense that, we still have problems in terms of open play, creating chances and actually finishing from open play. But today, I wouldn't sit here and say it's an impressive performance because we know these players are definitely capable of that. but it was 100 million times better than anything we've seen so far this season from Arsenal, you know, in the league especially. We moved the ball really quickly, which is something that, you know, I think we've really lacked so far this season. You know, in transition, we've been really slow, really lethargic. And I'm going to sit and say, do you know what? Mikel Arteta gets huge praise for today, because it seems to me like he's let the shackles off a little bit. You know, these players were playing, I would say, within themselves all season this season. Whereas, as you know, today you're seeing the free flowing football again. You're seeing, you know, people like Zinchenko breaking lines with passes. We're not just playing it short all the time. Quick 1-2 touches, you know, maximum on the ball. And it made a difference. It made a difference. It caused some huge problems to Crystal Palace. And yeah, you know, we scored the 2 goals from set pieces, and we can't be reliant on, you know, winning games from set pieces week in, week out. But, you know, we created the problems that caused them to give away them set pieces, if that makes sense. So, you know, I think from that aspect, I think the performance today was so much better. And it was a breath of fresh air as well to see Mikel Arteta go, do you know what? We're 3-0 up. It's time to bring on Smith Rowe. It's time to bring on Martinelli, you know, a handful of players that don't really get to play too many minutes at Arsenal, and try and get the confidence up within these players. And again, you know, if you go over the past few weeks, you're looking at the players on the pitch and you're trying to point out who's actually playing well for Arsenal. You know, there's not many players playing well for Arsenal. I think every single player on the pitch today did their job. They worked really hard for each other. And there was elements to that, you know, that we saw from Arsenal last season. You know, the way that we played, and, you know, the way that we worked hard for each other. Even when the substitutes came on, there wasn't really a massive drop. Can we go on and replicate that? I think that's what the question is. You know, we need to replicate that week in, week out now for the remainder of the season to have a chance of winning this league. And up until today, I've got to be honest with you, Tel, looking at the way that we was performing, I didn't think we was in a title race. You know, I thought top 4 is the best that we could hope for, because, you know, the performances were telling me that we're not ready for a title race this season. We don't look like we can actually go on and compete with Liverpool or Manchester City. If we can play like we did today for the remainder of the season, I think I'll change my mind a little bit, because we know these players are capable of this. It's just a case of the manager had to let the shackles off, and he's let the shackles off, and now it's up to the players to do the business. But yeah, I mean, we definitely still need a striker. I don't think we're going to get that in this window, let's be honest. So now it's up to them players to step up and do the business. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, look, do you know what's really interesting for me? You said something that stood out to me. The biggest thing was Arteta has let the shackles off. You've been on every single Arsenal match reaction I've done this year, I think, Bran, and I know Saad's been on a few, Nathan. Something I've said all year that I still feel to be true. I believe there's been an element, not every game, but there's been an element this season of you're not playing at 100 miles an hour, not playing at full speed, so that you have energy left in your legs in the second half of the season. This is typically how titles have been won forever. So it's going to be intriguing to see whether the energy you demonstrated today is going to be there in large part for the second half of the season, because I felt in the last 5, 6, 7 games last year, you died. I think your legs went, Saka's legs went, and multiple other players did. If you've still got your legs towards the end now, it's going to be very intriguing to see. So I get where you're coming from when you say that.
Maybe as well, though, Tel, fatigue maybe plays, you know, a little bit of a part in it, because I see a team that looked refreshed today. You know, we've had that 2-week break over in Dubai, and I see a team that looked fresh and ready to go, you know, but you got to remember, Arteta doesn't tend to rotate these players very often at all, you know, and if he does, he's bringing them on in the 80th minute or, you know, the 85th minute or something stupid like that. So these players have played a lot of football. Champions League, you can't really afford to rotate too much. So, you know, maybe that 2-week break has done them good. But again, you know, we have to see this week in, week out now. We have to.
I actually got a question. Sorry, Tim. I was just going to ask everybody, because I thought Trossard had a pretty good game today. Scored a good goal on the counter. But then Martinelli came on in his position and did a really good job, especially when Smith came on. Who do you guys think will start next game for Arsenal? I think it's Forest away in like 10 days. Who do you think is going to start on the left and who deserves it? Trossard or Martinelli?
I got to start first on that. What would you say to because both great question because both impacted the game hugely today.
I think. Listen, Trossard did have a good second half. First half, he was invisible. If I'm being completely honest, first half he was invisible. He wasn't getting involved as much as I would have hoped. But that's when you're next to Havertz, I expect that the left wing doesn't really get much service. But if I was to start somebody, I probably want to start Martinelli just because scoring 2 goals and with how much confidence he's going to have in him, I think he deserves to start. He actually came on and he put away both chances that he got. Do you know what I mean? You may say they're on a plate, but he still had to put them away and put them in the back of the net, and he's managed to do that for me. So I would say Martinelli out of the 2. But the thing is with Trossard, I always like him centrally. I don't like him on the wing because I feel like he's so clinical. So I want him central. I don't want him
slow as well. Yeah.
Can I say I disagree? I disagree a little bit. I think you have to start Martinelli because he scored 2 goals, and the confidence is going to be backing him again, hopefully. And we know that when Martinelli is firing with Trossard, not Trossard, sorry, with Jesus and Saka, that's our most potent front three. But what I liked about Trossard today, which Martinelli hasn't offered us at all this season, is last season we did so well in the front three because we was very interchangeable. You wasn't just seeing Saka out wide all the time, Jesus in the middle all the time, and Martinelli out wide all the time. That's what we've seen from Arsenal so far this season. It's been very rigid. Whereas as Trossard today, he was picking up central areas. He was out wide at times. He allowed Jesus to move out wide at times. We're very interchangeable today. And I think that's why the front three worked better than what it has done for the majority of this season. I mean, you guys might disagree, but that's what I saw today.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the added benefits of having Martinelli on the bench is when we need something different, he offers us some pace. I think I've never really been a big fan of the Trossard signing because I felt like it was in stark contrast to the profile that we originally wanted. And when he's asked to play as a left winger, he's not an outlet in the same way. And he's been asked to do things in the same way of Martinelli, but physically he's not capable of that. So for me, one of the nice things is that today Trossard played 65 minutes, and then Martinelli comes on, and you've got that directness and that pace to kind of expose tired legs, which is an added benefit. So in that regard,
that's a good comment, by the way, the one you just pulled up, Terry, about the fact that opposition, because Palace, I mean, they were not very good today at all. They man-marked Eze because that's their only real threat going forward, like the ball carrier or whatever. They marked him out the game for the most part. Had some nice moves every once in a while, but, I mean, if you think about Palace weren't even looking good, and then they looked tired, and then Martinelli came on in the transition, boom. So that's a good point.
Yeah. Do you know what? I look at it this way. I think Martinelli, get the calls, he got a brace. Partly, though, the reason he got a brace is because of the foundation that Trossard and others had built before he came on. They made it 3-0.
Circumstance.
Which meant, so it meant, if it was, I'm not saying he wouldn't have come on and scored a winner, but if it was 1-1 when he came on, would there have been that space to score those goals? And atypically, when a team wins 4-5, 6-0, it's because they're already 3-0 up. The opposition attack more, and there's more space to go into. So I think Trossard deserves the starting berth again because he was part of that core team that won that game as an example. But I think it creates great competition. So if they both start performing, they both start scoring, that's music. There should be music to every single Arsenal fan's ears. I suppose the only dampener today was that you didn't see Saka maybe get on the score sheet and show a little bit. Well, I didn't think he had I didn't think he had a bad game today. I didn't think he had a brilliant game today, as an example. He should have an assist, really.
Same old story, Tel. It's the same old story. He's too predictable.
Yeah,
anytime he
really
gets the ball, he does the exact same thing. Let me go on my left foot. Okay, I'm gonna try and go to the left. If I don't, Let me wait and show exactly what I'm going to do by going onto my right. You need to be quick and you need to be strong and you need to try and take on your man. He doesn't do that enough. When he does, it's too predictable.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying there. Stats, not a stat someone just thrown to me. I said, Terry, talk about art. I know you guys, the Arsenal fans, want to score more goals, and I get you want more goals. I understand it. But you've got 42 goals. Liverpool top of the league with 43. Spurs have 44. Villa have 43. City do have more. They've got 48. Like, nobody has... It's not like everyone's got sort of 55 goals and you're sitting on 35. But I know 5 goals today is kind of bridge that gap as an example, but all it really takes is a few games to turn it round. I know you want another goal scorer. I just find it really interesting that you're on. Again, I'm probably reflecting here as a Man United fan. I'm like, how are you crying about 42 goals when my team's sitting 24? That's probably what's going through my head.
No, but you know what it is.
It's
Sorry,
the fact that a lot of them have come from set pieces in contrast to play. So when you're looking at sustainability in terms of you can get a good amount of goals from set pieces statistically throughout the season, but to expect them type of goals to be consistent throughout the whole season, it's probably not realistic, or it's probably not. It's kind of hard to believe in, right? Whereas if you're getting goals from open play as well as set pieces, then you kind of know that your team's capable of scoring from both.
You got a plan B. Something you can fall back on.
Yeah, no, I do get you on that. As you said, I was just looking at here actually in terms of goals from open play this season. I don't think they just updated ones you got today. You're currently sitting on 18, 12 set piece goals. Those, yes, I do get you. I do get where you're coming from with that. You want to increase that, but games like today are that because 3 of your goals were from open play today. I don't know. Do any of the goals today count as counters? I don't know. Do they?
They do. Yeah, the goalkeeper threw one over, and then the last 2 was almost on a break. Eddie Nketiah took the ball, played it into Martinelli, ran into open space. It wasn't like we broke down a low block. We passed through them. And that's where we've kind of struggled this season. If you look at the West Ham game, for instance.
I'll give you a mad stat, though. I'll give you a mad stat. Man City have not scored a counter-attack goal all season. That's crazy. You'd thought they would have done at some point in relation to that. Let's go.